believe my pants are on fire. Looks like my chair's on fire. I believe my table's on fire. Oops! Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Waylon Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel. This old Hemi, it's got a weird transmission setup. It's got a clutch, but then it shifts automatic. It shifts electrically with these solenoids out here. I guess once you get it in gear, push the clutch in, put it in gear, then you can shift it with these solenoids. And people shy away from these old Hemis with this extended bell housing in it. See how far that comes out. And most of the transmission would bolt up all the way up here on the block, or on a bell housing would bolt up here, and people shy away from them because to put in another more modern transmission on there, you have to go to a machine shop and have this all machined down, and I guess so it'll mate up. But a local gentleman here got in touch with me. I think he's seen my videos on this Hemi, and he was looking for a 727 transmission and asked if I might have one, and I had gotten rid of 3 of them. and by the time I found out I could get one of them back for him, he had located one. But he has come across a way to cut the bell housing on the transmission and make it fit up instead of cutting that extended bell housing off the block, doing all that machine work. And he sent me some really interesting information on that. He came up and looked at this thing and got the numbers, and I thought it was a 53, but he determined it's a 1952. So me and this Hemi were born the same year. Anyway, all that means is, boy, that's an old engine, I'll tell you, but it runs. So I'm going to show you that information on that, how he's going about hooking up his transmission, and I kind of want to do the same thing with this. If I can ever get caught up on my breakdowns and stuff I burn up and drop off the lift and everything around here, well, I'd like to work on that Plymouth coupe down there, that 5-window coupe down on my driveway. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, really interesting how he's going about mating up that 727 to one of these older Hemis with the extended bell housing.
Pictures of
numbers,
and I can go look them up.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you later what you've got.
Friend Preston here has got a couple of Hemis himself, and knows way more than I do about this stuff. So we're just looking things over a little bit this morning. So and I think that's a 331 as well. What'd you think?
It's hard to say.
But later, a little bit.
You got a rag we could wipe
absolutely.
off a spot here.
Absolutely. We'll figure it out.
Let's see if there's
I can run some air out here too if it'd help blow things off a little. Would that do any good?
Okay. We might be okay here.
That will help, maybe.
So this is a factory stamping.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so this is an industrial motor. It says IND on it.
Yeah.
So they use these in generators or big water pump setups or whatever.
Yeah.
In the field somewhere.
Okay.
So this industrial motor, which is interesting.
See, that's what my V12 is. It ran an irrigation pump.
Yeah.
A lot of them did. A lot of them.
A lot of these did.
Mm-hmm. So they Hemi, and you know what? Around here, when I came here, moved here in the 1972. These things were all over in these orchards in sprayers.
Really?
Speed sprayers. Oh yeah, Hemis were all over the place in those speed sprayers. Yep, that's where a lot of them come from that are around here.
And now it's story time with Uncle Waylon.
When I was 20 years old, I started learning how to operate one of these sprayers. And the one I used was quite a bit older than the one shown here, but it's the same principle. You've got the engine up front, and in the middle there's a 500-gallon tank. and you mix your spray dope in that, pesticides, and then in the back you got the fan, and there's a pressure pump on there that pumps the material out those nozzles that go around the back. And you have to change out the nozzle size in order to control the amount of product per acre that your whatever the spray recommendation is. You have to get the application just right. Now, the tractor I was using at the time was newer than this one. It was probably a late 60s model tractor, but it had these diamond tread tires on there, and I'll tell you what, they are worthless on wet grass. First tank I think I ever sprayed out, that's when I learned you don't go downhill with a full tank. No, you spray out your tank, most of it on level ground, and then if you got a steep hillside, and boy, there was a steep hillside in that 7-acre block. You remember Mike Davis, the 7 acres? And I come around the top and started down that hill, and I learned real quick, you do not hit the brakes. Boy, that thing take off like a UFO. But I don't know how I managed to keep that tractor in front of that sprayer. I thought sure I was going to jackknife that thing, but somehow I managed to get to the bottom without killing myself. Yeah, that was a valuable lesson. I learned how to spray out a tank before you start doing the steep hillsides, and then when you do, you go uphill, not down.
Get some of that knocked off so I can get a good picture of it anyway. And I'll look it up later.
Did that give you good light on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. I think some had a casting number up here somewhere on the block, but I don't see that right offhand.
Okay, I'm going to put my flash on and see what that does about that number. Well, it's hard to get it all. There we go. There we go. Yeah, you got a good number. 148 6833.
So there's just a 6 in there between the H's.
Yeah, and the 33-1.
Yep.
All right. So you can.
That'll give us some clues.
Okay.
Some clues
Sure.
what we're dealing with here. But,
Sure. Well,
I know guys build the industrial motors for the, and it's mostly just this stuff in the front that was a little different.
Okay.
The block and the crank and heads and everything.
well, if these heads would help you out, I'd be open to do some swapping with you somehow, and because I just had it for kept parts for that one over there, just backup. But if I got something from you as backup, well, that'd be fine. Anyway, I don't know if that'll help you or not, but you can run the numbers and now tell me. I know it was explained to me that the machine shop can cut this thing off.
Place, and they
that
cut
place
it
in
off
California.
in Idaho. Somewhere.
Idaho. Okay.
I've got their information.
Okay.
They cut them off back here and then remachine it for Bell.
The 727 will bolt up, or with an adapter plate, maybe. Yeah.
Or you don't cut it off. You cut the bell housing off the transmission.
Oh, sure.
And it bolts directly up to this.
Okay.
And you don't have to do any modifications.
So is that what you're doing,
That's what
kind
I'm
of?
doing.
Okay. So then you just run the 727.
Yep.
Okay. Well, here's the transmission that goes with
That's
this.
interesting.
Well, it's automatic, but it's got a clutch. It's got a pressure clutch and pressure plate, and it shifts with the solenoids. I think once you take off, you can shift it with. I watched a video on that on YouTube. It's pretty interesting.
Really?
Once you take off, but you see, it's got the throw bearing and the whole deal, but yet it shifts like an automatic.
I've got the transmission off of the engine that I'm using it came out of a car. And it's got it's not like this though. It's similar. It's weird, but not like this. And they called it a fluid drive. It was some kind of a combination between an automatic and a manual, but it doesn't look like this, which is interesting.
Yeah. Well, I had this one running. This one runs, this motor. And a thing that happened to it, it had a rocker arm that would jump off. Now, I misspoke there, as I often do. What happened was the rocker would jump off the push rod. That's what happened. I don't know what's going on with that. I got to figure that out. Maybe just needed adjusting. I don't know what else it could be unless it's wore out.
They got really weird valve lifters in it too.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know anything about them, but But anyway, I was thinking, well, maybe those heads would be better to put them on here. I don't know. But it just depends on what that issue is and
Sure.
how bad it is. And I just need to get somebody that knows more about it than I do, and I won't have to look very far to find somebody that knows way more than I do about it.
Well, it's going to have a pad up here too. Have you ever cleaned that off? It's probably got some numbers.
No,
and,
never.
You know,
Never have.
and
Oh, right on that.
you can use
Yeah, same.
You can
Okay.
tell the year and everything.
Okay, let me get a light on that. We'll take a look. It's not cleaned off really good, but
Yeah, I don't. There we go.
yep, there you go.
Yeah, this is a 50. It's also a 52, 1952.
No, it doesn't say industrial on that, so
But it starts out with I think that's a C.
yes.
C52. So that was 1952,
Okay.
and
82522.
the rest of the numbers I'm not sure what they mean.
But you have a place you can run them and
Yeah.
find out what they are. Okay. Cool. That'll be fun. So 1952. I just love this old iron, Preston. I don't know. It gets
It's
in
really
your
cool.
gets in your blood.
And on these, the water jackets came up through the heads and out through the intake manifold, and then later they had them ported right out of the heads and had a crossover here.
Oh.
So I have this stuff that's got it has this oil cooler and everything that was all tied to the transmission at one time.
Yeah, that's a weird transmission. I'll have to find that video and send you the link to that, because the guy was driving this old car and it had that. It's pretty crazy how that works. Oh. Yeah, those solenoids on there, but well, I don't think that's anything I'd ever want to try and use, that transmission. But my thought was this would be a pretty cool engine to have in that coupe down there, that Plymouth coupe. That coupe is quite the vehicle. I really like it. It has some features that are 1 year only. You know, it's got the wing windows that you pull open and push open. Well, when you close those, they roll down with the side window. The wing windows
Oh, really?
roll down with the window.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's really neat. And then the gauges are really cool, because they've got there's the oval, like the speedometer is oval, and then inside the oval are little ovals, and then the whole thing is oval. It's just fun. It's really fun. Okay, the rest of this video is just footage that wound up on the cutting room floor during the editing process from the last video. And when I was in there with my broom sweeping up all that film that was laying on the floor, I started looking through it. You know, I just held it up to the light and started looking through it, and I found a couple pieces that I wanted to include in this video. So I will take a look at it now. But yeah, just keep in mind this was shot while I was doing that previous video. But a couple things I wanted to get to you guys. One of them is when I was talking about baling wire, so that's coming up. Okay, I've been working on my homework. I think I got my homework all done. So I'll be ready to turn that in on Monday when the Harmonator gets here. Yeah, so now that I got my homework done, I got a little bit of free time. It's like study hall, you know, I can do whatever I want. So I think I'm going to wait to take this red truck out until tomorrow. It's 5 o'clock. It's pretty chilly outside, and I don't want to be out there on the tractor moving snow and all that. It's going to be dark in a little bit, so I don't need the lift tonight, but I can use it tomorrow. So I think I'm going to wait on that and do that tomorrow, and that means I can bring the Dirty Dozen back in for a little bit and tinker with that. Yeah, so always get your homework done first, and then you can play afterwards. All right. I gotta bundle up and get the snow off of that thing. better scoot over a little bit there, Waylon. Okay, new day, a new dawn. I am about to take that bar off of there, cut that bar off that I welded on whenever it was, Thursday, because I've changed my mind. Sometimes I go to sleep thinking about something and I wake up with a whole new direction, a whole new plan. It changes in the middle of the night. So that's what happened. I went to sleep thinking about it one way and I woke up thinking about it another way. So I'm going to cut that out of there and we'll see what happens. But I am really happy with the support that gives it. Boy, that really firms things up. Yeah, I like that. That's it's not going to vibrate going down the road. So, but this thing I'm about to put on here, it needs to be able to come off. In case I want to pull those tanks off, I don't want to have the weight of the whole thing. If I want to take off one tank, I can. Take off the other, one at a time, but not this whole conglomeration at once. It will be too heavy and awkward to deal with, so I'm going to do it another way. Yeah. Get in there and see what kind of tool I'm going to need to cut that open to perform surgery. Open tank surgery. What do I need? It's good. Okay, fortunately, I just had it tacked on. You know, one of the wires tacks, about an inch wide and 3 inches long. Usually, but in this case I just tacked it on just right, just ever so. Is this thing in gear? No, I don't think so. It's putting a parking brake on this thing. We used to call it emergency brake, e-brake. Now they call it a parking brake. But, the most important thing is I need to go warm up my coffee. And then we'll get to crack-a-lackin'. Is that gonna reach? Ooh, just barely. Just ever so. Oh, the wise man built his house upon the rock. Where the wire built his upon the sand. Now, after all that, I gotta get down. You know what for? I really do try, guys. Sometimes the safety salaries get on to me, and I know they're right, but I really do try. Sometimes I forget, but I really do try. Not quite. One more time. Or two or three. There we go. Well, it's another gorgeous day. Wow. Sun shining, 35 degrees. Time to throw the shop doors open. It was a little too warm in here. All right. Feels good now. Oh, love that plasma cutter. Isn't that a beautiful cut? Nice. Nice. You know, I just got a message from my son. And that little grandbaby of mine is only 2 years old. He told me that she wants to make Pappy a birthday cake. Oh, isn't that the sweetest thing? Just melts my heart. It just makes all the cares of this old world just fade away. Yeah. Hey, it was warm enough today, about 35. I just felt it. Compelled to make the first batch of the golden nectar for 2024. It all happened today. It's been a good day. Okay, Diff, you're mounted right up there with Hodgepodge Dodge Garage. What do you think about that? And the Shade Tree Fix It Man. You're in pretty good company there, my friend. So let's scoot this back a little. Oh, just don't even know my own strength sometimes. Yeah, right. Guys, remind me now before I take that dirty dozen out, before I fire it up. Remind me to take that belt off that compressor. You know what? I know you won't. You'll forget, so I'm just going to do it right now. We're going to put in our specialty square body extensions that Wayland Wire built. So this thing won't fall off the rack anymore. Plus we got to drop the pins in and make sure the pins are dropping down. That's another thing. Okay, there we go. I've been wallowing around in the floor like an old sow. Yeah, like an old hog. 2 inches further back than it was the last time I picked it up. I think it'll be okay. I'll put a stand under the back end. A couple of them, 2 of them. I don't think he needs it terribly high to up those cap corners, but we throw a couple stands under there. Let's see, are we on the rocks? Yes, we are. right, good. Thanks, fellas. Thanks for your help. Okay, we're good. While we're taking a little break, I'm gonna go in. I forgot to eat supper. I shouldn't eat this late, but all my life I've been doing things I shouldn't do. So while we're taking a break here, I want to ask you fellas a favor. I'd like for you to go. Let me change that. Please, if you would, go over to Balin Wire's Old Iron, Baylon, Balin Wire's Old Iron. That's the gentleman who bought Jimmy Hoffa, and he's gonna fix up old Jimmy. Old Jimmy's gonna be pretty nice when he's done. And Jimmy went to a good home. That makes me happy because he deserved a better life than what I was giving him. I've got too many things going on. So it's like having too many kids. You just can't give them all the attention that they need. And so anyway, if you would, go over and check out his last video. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised and impressed. I know I was. I called him and gave him a little compliment because it's amazing how far he's come since his first video. And he's a new YouTuber. I think he's only uploaded, I don't know, maybe 5 videos, something like that, maybe 6, but you're gonna go see a world of difference between now and when he started. You can see his confidence, you can see how it flows. He's got excellent content, but also his presentation is just, it's just come a long way. And I just had to call him and let him know that because I really enjoyed the video. I won't tell you what it's about, but it's really good content, and I think you're going to like it. He did some excellent work, and he's got some more excellent work coming up. But if you haven't subscribed to him, maybe go over and subscribe and tell him Cousin Waylon sent you. So I'll put a link down in the description, because sometimes when you type in Balin Wire's Old Iron, all of my stuff comes up and they're going, are you sure you didn't mean Waylon? Yeah, it's Balin. Okay. So you can finally get there, but I'll put a link right down here below the video here, and y'all can just click on that and bam, you'll be there. But I think you'll enjoy the video. Go check him out. Tony's a good guy. We're fast becoming good friends. You know, we keep in touch and talk about that old truck and various things in general, and we might have a little surprise coming up for you next summer. We'll see how it goes, but right now I'm going to call it a day. I think I'll call it Tuesday, and we'll see you guys in the funny papers. Okay, I'm really liking this sticker, and I need to upgrade my stickerdom. Compared to what I'm seeing now, that's awesome, man. Look at that. So I'm gonna have to get a hold of Cole Lambert and see if I can't get him to do a caricature. And I'll show you what he did for me. He did the Dirty Dozen for me, and boy, look at that. He does excellent work. So there's the old Dirty Dozen. That's when the battery was hanging off outside the frame, and he's even got the patch panel I put in the door. It still had the stack on it at that time. I don't know where he got that grill. That's nothing like the grill. But he got everything else. He got the frame horns chopped, and you know, I don't know where he came up with that grill. But yeah, this is the Dirty Dozen. So if you look at that one of Diff, and I can just see this one. I can picture this with old Waylon hanging out the door there, you know, on the old Dirty Dozen. I think that'd be a pretty cool sticker. Well, Harmon had me even sand down the inside of those hinges and pour 15 them. And I got to put some 415 in there, and I've been sanding these louvers because when Halverson Auto Body restored this truck, I had it back a few months, and all of a sudden my red hood started turning blue all in through here because whoever he had working that day didn't prep it. Well, that's not going to happen on Harmon's watch, I'll tell you that. This door, I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. Hope you can. The door panel goes here, of course, and then I've got the carpet part that goes down on the bottom. So the only thing that shows really on the back side of this door is that little, about a 4-inch strip between the door card and the carpet. And then we come to this door, and look what we have on that 4-inch strip. Yeah, isn't that nice? Because this door was a later model and electric, had electric lock and windows. And I changed all that, took all that out, put the good stuff in, and today I noticed this, and I mean I knew about it before, but I'd kind of forgotten about it. And Harmon said, yeah, you told me you could get panels for that, and I can. I looked at them, and you can get bigger panels that'll cover the whole door. This door, what it had on it was a big old thick padded panel that covered the whole thing, and just a real big gaudy ugly thing. And yeah, you can get those panels, but you know, if I bought one, that's a couple $100. Well, 230 was it, something like that. Well, then you got to buy the other one, and then you got to pay shipping, and pretty soon you're out $600. Yeah, I'm going to fill these holes because Harmon can bodywork that in an hour, probably. You know, I mean, so what if you had two hours into it compared to buying new door panels? And I work for free, so my time doesn't count. So what I will do is fill this one, and I will fill this one, and this one, and this one, and then this one I will cut out in one piece because that's flat. This one's kind of rounded a little on the end, so I didn't want to get into that. And then this one I will cut out the whole thing, the circle, and this, and replace that whole piece. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And that didn't take long. That didn't take long at all to cut out those little pieces and stick them in there. Not too big, not too small. Old Whalen wire can weld them off. Well, I got to put a little gap in there. I'll show you. I've learned, you know, I may have talked about this before, but body work is not like the kind of welding I do, like on the frame on that 30 dozen, you know. Quarter wall box steel. I don't grind my welds down, boy. Weld her up. But with body work, you got to have a gap so you can get your weld down in there, because you do have to grind it down. But that way when you grind it, you got weld down in there and it's not going to come loose. But see, I don't have enough gap right there. I need to cut a little gaposis in that so my weld will get down in there, and that's what I'm going to do right now. Actually, what I like to use for that is my saw. This little saw. This little saw blade makes the perfect size gap. Welding that. So try this at home, folks. Okay. I'll do a little grinding over there, and I'll come over and do a little stitching, and then I'll do a little grinding and a little more stitching. Although I don't think I'm gonna warp this thing a whole lot. If you're out in the middle of a panel like a bedside or something, you gotta be real careful. I think I'll be all right here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this. That piece of metal I welded in there was a little bit rusty, and I know it wouldn't pass Harmon's inspection. He's going to tell me to pour 15 it, so I went ahead and did that, and now he can body work it. Okay guys, I know this video is kind of a hodgepodge of things. Like I said, most of this footage came from the cutting room floor. Some of it's not in order. I'm sure you've figured that out. I mean, like I was welding up the holes in that door, and of course, you know, the door's already painted now. But anyway, with it being so mixed up, I forgot to include that information that Preston sent me on the HEMIs in the earlier part of the video when I was first talking about that. But I'm going to go ahead and include it here because it's really good stuff. So the easiest way to do that, I think, is just to show it to you on my computer screen. So we'll scroll through it together. Boy, Preston, you really went out of your way to put all this information together for me. I really appreciate this, and like I said, if you need those heads, we'll work something out. I'm just looking here. Oh, the industrial engine, you think it's a 54, and I'm looking at the horsepower. It's only 180 horsepower at 4,600 RPMs. But you know, in 1953, that was a lot. And that other one being a 52, I think it made a little bit, well, it made the same horsepower, but at 4,000 RPM maybe, but quite a bit of torque, 312 foot-pounds of torque. And then here he's showing the water passages on the industrial engine, the marine industrial. Here at the 392 was different. Just a lot of info. Look at these. Here's the casting numbers. Here's the 331, the 1952. Okay, yeah, it's 180 horse at 4,000. But here's all the information about the adapting the extended bell housing 331 to a different transmission, and he's got some place where you can get the kit. So I haven't read all of this yet, but this is really interesting. This is the pictures that he's taken of the one that he's doing, the 727. He says this is the transmission case right after I cut off the bell housing. So it looks like he drilled this a bunch of times, maybe, and then cut it off. Yeah, there's the piece. And then it's ground it down here. Look at there. There's the adapter plate. That's starting to look really good. And I remember he said you need to keep this lower half of the cast iron on the original engine bell. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to show you guys this. That's pretty slick right there. I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but I'm talking about this adapter that goes on there. That's looking pretty good. So if I get to do mine, I've already located a transmission for it. Actually, it's one I got rid of along with the D100 Dodge that I sold to my cousin, and I just made him take those other transmissions. I thought I was just cleaning the place up, but anyway, there's that. All right. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this one, and I think I hear most of you screaming, well, thank goodness it's finally over. But anyway, my intros and outros are a bit lacking right now. As you know, I don't have my green screen up, so I'm not able to get too creative. And I'm going to call it a night. It's 10:31, and I've got to be in at SeaTac at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the pass is supposed to be really bad, blowing snow, it says. And so I got to leave early to make sure I have time in case something happens. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Well, I guess we'll see tomorrow. Maybe I'll take you guys along just for the ride. Yeah, that's it. Appreciate you guys taking the time to stop in and see me. And until I see you again, you know I sure do appreciate you. We'll see you real soon right back here on Whalen Wire's Old Iron.